Welcome to the desk of Coach Hess. I am honored and pleased to have Matthew Ferraro here today, President, CEO of the Katy Area Chamber of Commerce. Matthew, it's just great to have you on board. And can you give us a little bit of information, kind of general info of what's going on at the Chamber? What is it all about?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, Greg, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Chambers of commerce just generally are, they're membership-based organizations, trade associations, nonprofit, 50c6 designations. But we're here in our region to provide the Katy area businesses opportunities to network and build relationships. That tech that we try to go far beyond business. We want people to make those personal relationships so they can rely on them moving forward. We advocate and become the unified voice for our business members when there are issues when it comes to certain policies and stuff like that. Businesses don't typically get their voices heard, but when there's a coalition of support through their local chambers, we can help drive to make some change. And we also provide educational programming and resources, content you see through our events, and the development of a leadership program that we'll be launching hopefully this August to help grow business and further those connections as well. So a lot of things going on for us. We're very excited. The coronavirus for some people has been difficult, and it has been for the chamber as well. But we're trying to stay positive and proactive and bringing resources and information to our members and our community.
Well, thank you, Matthew. That's good response. I guess you've been in the role for a little over a year, I suppose. What's the journey been like for you, Matthew? We've all I've certainly been on the outside cheering you on, and I love what you're doing, and the community's getting a lot of benefit from the effort you're bringing forth. So can you share a little bit of what that journey's been like for you?
Sure, I appreciate it. Yeah, and Chamber's been around since 1962, the Katy Area Chamber, and they've been supporting businesses since that time. I came on board late April of last year, 2019, and the chamber was kind of in a state of kind of stagnicity, I'd say, with some of their programming and their value to their members. And one of the exciting things for me coming on board was it almost felt like a clean slate. I've got my entire career I've spent in the chamber world, at my time at the 5-star accredited Fort Bend Chamber. So I learned a lot of different unique tools and ways to engage our membership and educate them on making them more successful businesses. And so I've tried to implement that as quickly as I could. First thing I did on board, or another thing, was our website was so outdated. It was very difficult for our members to get information and actually get the simplest value from their membership, which is online referrals. So within a month, we changed that up, and now it's a full functioning mobile responsive site. We changed our programming for it to kind of fall under our four silos: education, healthcare, or education and workforce development, healthcare, infrastructure and mobility, and government relations. And we're going to tie in a few more programs as we continue to move forward. But those are the 4 core ones I wanted to implement year one. And I feel like we did a pretty good job of that, and the community responded well to that. So there's been a lot of change. I've got ideas, and, we were able to build our team from 2 to 4 over this year as well. So we've gotten incredible support. We had 150 plus new members last year, all organic growth, which is incredible to say the least. I think this community has been hungry for an active chamber that gives its educational programming. So we're on the footsteps of being great. This COVID deal is a little bump in the road, but we'll hopefully get past it.
Sure. Well, certainly hats off to you for the team you've put together. All 3 or 4 of the ones that I've worked with a little bit along with, they're just great people, and you've done a good job in bringing together a powerful team. How about if I asked a question, what is the real target right now? I mean, we've got membership needs, we want to grow, we've got to help the community, of course. So what is our real target in your mind today from the chamber?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think chambers look at target members differently. Every chamber looks at a different business differently. There are you could argue that any business member is your target, right? You grow your base, you grow your support that way. And by all means, we are open to everybody to become a member. There used to be stigmas in the chamber world that you wouldn't want, for instance, a tattoo parlor or a CBD type of company to join, because that wasn't the old school metric of the chamber. But if you look at the general idea of business, everyone, they're their own businesses, and they want the opportunity to be supported and use the chamber as a marketing resource for them. And so we've opened up our doors to everybody. Now, we do try, and when we do go out and recruit our members, we do try and find those that we believe that are more focused on not just I guess the grand openings and the ribbon cuttings and the membership emails and stuff like that, because yes, those are tangible things that they can get, and all of our members have access to those. But we really try and sit down and talk with the member so they get an understanding of who we are, what we're doing moving forward. We want them to believe in our mission and our vision, and with that belief, they'll stick around with us and support us long term to help us reach our goals. And so that's kind of where I see us trying to find our target audience. But the generalness of it is the business community and the community at large that is seeking the information that we're putting forth.
Yeah. Well, there's no question we're in a growing, thriving community. All of a sudden, we got hit with a curveball. And I've looked at some of the analysis saying Katy may not be hit that hard, although heck, the double dip of the oil and gas and everything else.
Yeah.
What kind of impact has the COVID had on your role in the chamber and so on that you can share with us?
Yeah. The oil and gas industry has been hit hard, really hard. The small businesses, restaurants, hair salons, gyms, a lot of those social factors when it comes to business have been affected. And chambers, we offer a number of different benefits. One of the biggest ones, or one of the most common you see, is networking opportunities, bringing people together to build those relationships. And so with us not being able to do that, we've shifted a lot of our focus onto the educational content and support during this time. We've tried out a few of our online networking, fun virtual networking opportunities. And although it's still a benefit to our members, it's just not the same as being in person. So that's how it's affected our chamber programming a lot. Is yes, people come to our lunches for the content, but I feel more so they come to make those business connections. Their target audiences are within those 4 pillars, and they'll go to those lunches to hopefully make a connection and build a relationship off of. The community as a whole, it's incredible what you've seen and how much support has been coming out of the community, whether it be from the city of Katy, from the Katy area nonprofits, from the small businesses, from restaurants providing meals to our healthcare workers and frontline workers. It's been an incredible feeling being relatively new to the area to have that much support during a time like this. None of us budgeted or planned for a global pandemic, but we've seen a tremendous support from our community to help business move forward. And with all the information regarding the idle loans and the payroll protection program and stuff like that, we're hoping the federal government put those in place to help support our small businesses so they can get past this and eventually find some normalcy and get back to the way things were.
Well, I've noticed that you as the chamber have done a great job of providing information on what's going on with the PPP, where to get your disaster loan stuff. It's been very well done and structured, and I think you've done a great job of building the community up to support each other and being a bit of a hub in that. So thank you for doing that, Matt.
I appreciate it.
One of the questions, a little twist on it, is smart people tend to learn from other people's mistakes. And sometimes
definitely.
we all make mistakes. And so I'd like you to share maybe a level, kind of a thought of a mistake or whatever, a change that you'd have to make that other people could learn from you and your experience?
Sure. You know, my mentor over the last 7, 8 years, Carrie Schmidt, president of the Fort Bend Chamber, where I used to work. Um, she was incredible. You know, she made her fair share of mistakes, and so she learned from those. And over her career, she's been in the profession almost 20 years, and so she would always bring the staff together, the team together, and tell us, you know, firsthand how it affected her and how she pivoted from that to make it successful. So she was always telling us, don't be afraid to fail because you'll succeed much further. And you know, it always resonates with you when you go through a difficult time. One of the things I continue to struggle with to this day, and you know, I've read a number of books and I've sat down with her and a few other coaches as well to talk through it, but it's still something that I struggle with at times, is learning to delegate. Um, and not that I necessarily need a sense of control of everything, but it's in my previous roles, it was all my responsibilities were kind of in my silo. And so I wanted to, you know, I had procedures in place to make sure X, Y, Z got done at appropriate time, appropriate pace. And so now that I'm in this new leadership role, not necessarily just leading a team, but leading an organization and a board, helping lead the board into where we want to go in the future. It's okay. I can't put it all on my plate. We have a number of great team members on our staff that can help with it, and we've got great support from our board. And actually learning and being comfortable with the delegation of those responsibilities, because when you try and take it on yourself, it never gets done. It was funny. I want to see if I can draw it for you real quick. I had somebody point this out to me. You've got, let's see, it's not going to be very good, but you've got all these, if you can see it, you've got all these ideas and things you want to do.
Right.
And if you're doing them yourself, you're only going to get so far.
Right.
But when you focus on one thing and allow other people to work on things, everybody can exceed, right?
You make everybody successful. Excellent advice. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's one of the biggest changes of not being afraid to fail. Ask for help. Even if you're in the leadership position, you need to be able to ask for help, and you know, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. You don't need to be the smartest of the room. I'm wildly supportive, or one thing we've learned in Fort Bend, while I was at Fort Bend, diversity and how important it is to not just a community or business, but a team. You don't want everybody on your team to have the same thought process, because then your organization is going to be. You want ideas, you want new thoughts, you want different backgrounds and different experiences and different people that can give you a path for the future. And so that's another thing, is what I've learned. You don't have to surround yourself with like-minded people. Be different, change it up a little bit. And you know, our team members, they've got various backgrounds in different things, and so it's fun to say, hey, I've got this idea, what are your thoughts? Oh, well, you know, I've done this, you know, 4, 5, 6 years ago somewhere here. And you kind of get this generalized, okay, well, because of all this information that we're gathering, now we can set a plan for the future. And so those are some of the things that I've utilized in my young career of trying to be a better person, a better leader, a better communicator. Yeah.
Well, those are sure words of wisdom. 100% inclusion. When everybody feels like they're part of it, and you get those brainstorming ideas and they bring their best forward, really seems to be a very successful formula that you said you prescribe to. So hats off to you for that again. Now, last question. What inspires you, or has inspired you, as we've gone through this last couple months of this little crisis we've been going through? What's happened in your community or around you in your role that would give you a high degree of inspiration?
You know, you want to, you know, the good way to say this is your community support. As a chamber, our revenue, as a nonprofit membership-based organization, all of our revenue comes from events and new members and renewals. And we haven't been pushing for new memberships. We haven't really been pushing for renewals, and we haven't been doing in-person events that generate revenue. Everything's been web-based and complimentary. But what we've seen is the continued support of our businesses to continue to support the chamber with their membership renewals without having to ask, because they see the value in the chamber. Another inspiring, you have to give it up to the educators in our community and across the country. Being here, my wife, who's also a teacher, and trying to teach at home with our son and stuff like that. There are those that, it's incredible to see what they've done. We did a program with Superintendent Ken Gregorski of Katy ISD and School Board President Courtney Doyle Monday of last week, and we had over 500 people on the registration on the call, and over 1,000 views on the YouTube video that we did. And so, a lot of it was questions about the future of KISD, but at the same time, through the Q&A and the comment section of that, it was how much support they had for the school district and the teachers and the parents that were concerned. So the outlying support of the community has been just incredible and inspiring, and wants you to get up to do your job every day and make sure, hey, this community is still here, it's still thriving. Yes, we've been thrown this curveball, but a lot of people have hit home runs off curveballs. So I hope our organization, our community, yeah, right. I hope our organization and community can come through with that, and I think they will, for sure.
Yeah. Well, with leaders in place like yourself and the rest of the community stepping up, I can see us being a better community for sure. Certainly there's going to be some changes, and we'll recognize those and grow with them. But as long as we're all working together and have guys like you holding the steering wheel at the chamber for us, we're all going to be better off. I want to thank you for joining us today on the desk of Coach Hess. Any last comments, Matt, before we close out?
Keep your head up. Stay safe. We're in partnership with a number of businesses and associations, the number of area chambers and EDCs, developing a work safe task force. So as our community plans to reopen, visit our webpage or visit the association web pages just to get an idea. We've kind of got 15 workplace guidelines that we've put in place to help you open up a little bit easier, so people are a little bit more comfortable coming to do business at your facility or your workplace. It's in partnership with what the Greater Houston Partnership is doing for the Houston region, and so we're kind of that west side, West Houston, Katy area support system for it. So as we get back to work, wash your hands, wear your face masks, practice social distancing, and support your community. Everybody's being affected by this. There's nobody that's not. So just keep your head up. Hopefully we get through this in the next couple of months or so, if not sooner. And then we'll get back to our normal or a new norm. I mean, everything's going to change regardless, but we'll get back to some normalcy here, hopefully in the next couple of months. And, we all can get prepared for the future.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Matt Ferraro, President, CEO of the Katy Chamber area. We thank you for your time, and over and out from the desk of Coach Hess.